Welcome to the Steve Show. Today we're going to talk how do you choose your success and then get what you want. So when it comes to having more of what we want, it does come down to choice. And some of you might be thinking, oh, well, there's certain things in your life that you can't choose. I think virtually almost everything we do choose in our life. And we don't always get exactly what we want. So, part of, and one of my teachers, Carl Buquette, talked about choosing and choosing again. And the factor that, I want to talk about today is to accept what we're given. So you choose something, you request it, this is what I would like, then you take what you get and you look at it and you have gratitude for what you've gained, but then you also have to then choose again, right? Because we don't always get everything that we want. And in fact, let's look at that for a second. If you got everything that you wanted in your life right now in this moment, then what fun would life be after that? Like, you might think it would be the best thing ever, but then it would not. It would not be cool. Think of if you, like my good friend and one of my teachers, Michelle Masters, always says, what if you got all the food, every meal that you were going to eat right now? It wouldn't be that cool. If you had the best pizza in the world, and it's hands down the best, but then you had to eat the whole thing in one bite, there wouldn't be much to enjoy. You'd actually be looking for how to breathe, right? So this is the same with life. Life is a journey. Life is about learning. That's why you hear so many people say, embrace the journey, love life now. And I'm 100% in belief with that. If you're waiting for something to allow you to be happy, then you're going to be waiting a long time. It's choosing happiness. That's why I say choose gratitude. When we choose those things, we start to then have the life that we want. It's in that moment of choice. And when do we get to choose? Always. You always have another choice. No matter what comes your way, we have a choice. So if something comes into your life that you don't want, or was a negative thing, or was, a problem or a challenge, then we need to look at how do we assess that? What choices do we make at that moment? It's like if you're playing cards, if you want to play the game, you have to look at whatever cards were dealt to you, and you got to play the best that you can. And then you get another round, and then you get another round. So the fastest way to have what you want is to choose what you want, be grateful for what you gain, look at how it could be better, look at it, so you're doing a little bit of analysis, and then you choose again. And then you repeat that cycle over and over and over again. So then you choose again, then you take what you get, and you accept it, and you're grateful for it, and you analyze it, and then you choose again. And the faster you do this, the better. So what stops us, what slows us down many times is that we choose something, we don't get exactly what we want, and then we are upset about it. So that's where complaint starts coming in. We start complaining about it. We start getting upset with ourselves. We can even get into depression if it was like a big thing that we wanted and it didn't happen. And then we start getting depressed. We're wallowing in what we didn't want, and thereby we're not choosing again. I mean, if we want to get really detailed, you're choosing to have that state of mind. And you might say, Steve, you might be in the middle of something. And believe me, I've been in some places where I've virtually lost everything. Like, I've been at the points where I've had extreme highs of success, and then I've had extreme lows. Like many of you have heard me say, in my 20s, I had earned over $4 million and lost over $4 million. I basically went from having a lot of cool things to not having a lot of cool things, So I've been at both extremes, and it was my choice that got me out of it. If I focus on something that I don't like, then I get more of that. And there's this saying, I don't know where I got this, where I heard it, or how it came about, but it's been said many times, where your focus goes, energy flows. Where your focus goes, energy flows. So if I focus on what I don't want, then I'm going to get more of what I don't want. It's going to flow that way. So that's why it's so critical to have choice and to remember you have choice. I'll tell you, when I grew up, it wasn't the most positive atmosphere. Like, I'm grateful for what my parents gave me. We always had a house, we always had meals, but money was tight. There was struggles, and there was times when it wasn't a lot of fun at the house, and there was a lot of negativity that happened around growing up for me. And when I moved out of my house and went to college, I remember thinking that life just happens. Life just happens, that it's what it is. And I read the book Think and Grow Rich, if you've heard about it, Napoleon Hill. And I read it by a coincidence. One of my friends moved into my house, and for the first time, I had my own place. And I didn't want to, I wanted to be on my own for the first time. And my friend knocks on my door and says, "Hey, my dad kicked me out. Can I stay with you?" And I let him stay in, but then I quickly realized within that first week, I was like, man, I didn't want it. I wanted to have my own space. And so I said, "What's going on with you and your dad?" And he said that his dad kicked him out because he didn't read Think and Grow Rich. And he thought his dad was joking. His dad was this super duper business guy. And he said, "If you don't read Think and Grow Rich, you're kicked out of the house." And his son kept calling it like he thought it was a bluff. And then his father really did kick him out. So right away, my incentive was to get him out of my house. I read Think and Grow Rich with him. I said, "Well, let's read it." I said, "Let's go get the book." And he said, "Well, I have the book. I brought it in my bag." So we read the book together. And it was that moment so I had other ulterior motives to have this happen. But when I read the book, I quickly realized all of these people that have had success in their life, and not just money, like just having the life that they desire, they chose it. They chose that life. And I realized that they could choose it. They came from hard times. Some of them didn't even have an education past 5th grade or less. And they were in, really bad state of place. And they chose to have the life that they wanted. And I realized in that moment that I could choose. And my quest to be an entrepreneur and start all the businesses I have in over 20 years now has started from that moment of choice. So wherever you are, you think you don't have a choice. You think, "Oh, all this happened to me." Like, then we're blaming. And the minute you start blaming, you start putting your energy, your life force out on something else. You're blaming that other thing, whether it's a thing, a person, an event that happened in your life. You're blaming your situation on that instead of looking at what you can do. So look for what you can do and then choose again. Like my good friend Tommy Voris, I know I'm talking about a lot of friends today, but it's all these things in my life, the book, Think and Grow Rich, and all the friends and teachers that I've had in my life that have allowed me to become the man that I am today. And that's because of these thoughts that go through our head and the way that we choose. Well, my friend Tommy Voris, he said, the 5-minute wallow, him and I always practiced it, and we would call each other on it. When something happened, we have 5 minutes to wallow in it, and then we move forward. So whatever happens, the more you sit in that mire, the longer it's going to persist, right? It's just going to continue to happen because you're putting your energy there, your focus, and then it becomes energy. Whatever we focus on, wherever focus goes, energy flows. So it's okay to look at it for a minute, analyze what's going on, and then make another choice. So it comes back again, make a choice, take what we get, learn from it. That's what being a human being is about, learning. So you choose, you learn from it, take what you get, and that's where that gratitude comes in. The more that I chose to be grateful and to appreciate what I've been able to receive, then the quicker I was able to make that next choice. So no matter what it is, and oftentimes I've said, when you look at a storm, let's say we're in a storm, the more I look at the storm, the more the storm is just there and I can't find my way out. But if I actually look for the gift, or I look for where I'm supposed to be going through that storm, or what am I supposed to be learning from it, then I move forward. I'm projected forward. So it's in this choosing and gratitude and appreciation and then choosing again that actually gets you going forward. And it was when I first got my first mentor, to kind of put a capsule on all this, when I first hired a mentor that I paid thousands and thousands of dollars to, that changed my life, it was actually looking back at having the gratitude. Because when you're in your point, you're like, I don't have what I want, and you're focusing on that, you're not focusing on what you're grateful for in that moment. And that was completely slowing me down from having what I want. And so the easiest and quickest way to do it was to choose gratitude. That's why that's in my tagline, choose gratitude. As soon as I found gratitude for where I was, then I was okay with it. And I realized that it was better than where I came from. Oh my gosh, look at where I've come. Even when times were tough, even when I lost stuff, I was like, wow, look at how much smarter I am now. And when I rebuilt things, I built it even better and stronger than ever before. So having that, I'm so grateful for my hard times. I'm so grateful that I lost $4 million, especially in my 20s. That's way better than having it happen in your 60s. Right? So now that happened and I got to learn from that. Like how many people get to say that they lost that amount of money? So now I can say, wow, that was a hard time and that really sucked. But I'm so grateful for that moment because now I have this. Now I'm smarter, wiser. I can do and have more. So I hope this is helpful. Everywhere situation you're in, look at where you are, what can you learn from it, and then choose again. Choose again. Life is about choosing and learning. There's no failure, there's only feedback. That's again, Carl Buchheit. He's the one that's instilled that in my head over and over and over again. There's no failure, only feedback. So we do something, we learn from it, we choose again. Do something, we learn from it, we choose again. So keep choosing, and please let me know how this makes an impact in your life, or if there's any other questions. And until the next video, choose gratitude and create freedom.